Okay, I'm Mitch from PureGrainAudio. I'm here with Jamey from Hatebreed in Toronto tonight, and they're playing at the Opera House. So how's it going, dude?
It's going good.
What have you been up to lately?
Just touring, coming towards the end. About a week left.
Yeah.
And tour's been great. We don't have Typo with us tonight, unfortunately, because they're always a good time. But looks like we're gonna have a sold-out show, and actually looks like we might even turn away some people tonight.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. It's good to be back.
This is part of the Jagermeister Tour, but I looked on your MySpace and it wasn't on for the Toronto date or the Montreal date. How come's that?
I don't know.
No?
I don't know. That's a question for the web guy.
Yeah.
But I did see all the posters, and it did say that Jaeger was presenting the show, and you know they're all like metalheads and hardcore people that work over there. So it's pretty cool that they gave us a ton of promotion for the tour.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. You guys played with Iron Maiden last night. How was that?
Yeah, that was insane. That was great. That was like a dream come true. Nico McRae watched us from on the side of the stage.
Yeah.
And I talked with him afterwards, and it was just incredible. You know, before we played, the whole crowd was chanting Hatebreed. During, you know, when the songs were, when we would break, they would chant Hatebreed, and that's like, that's pretty insane at an Iron Maiden concert to have your own band name chanted and have that such a warm reception. It was really great. Such great metal and hardcore fans, you know, all over Canada. It's bigger than ever in Canada right now.
It is, yeah. You've done guest appearances with bands from Terror to Catch-22 to even Necro.
Yeah.
Who's been your favorite to
work with? Probably like Sepultura or Biohazard. That was a big honor and a big privilege for me to do both of those records way back when. You know, now it's going back a ways that I did those records, but. I just did a cool thing on Straight Line Stitch's record. They're a really cool band out of Tennessee. I encourage people to check out. More metal style with a female singer, but they're cool.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
And what else? I just did a track with Pete Steele, or I'm doing a track with Pete Steele. It's not finished yet, which is going to be on my next Ice Pick record, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have Ice Pick and Kings of Sorrow.
Kingdom of Sorrow.
Kingdom of Sorrow. Sorry. How are those going?
It's going great. Kingdom of Sorrow is actually on Ozfest with Metallica and Ozzy. We're playing the second stage. It's going to be great. And then we're doing a little tour with Soylent Green after that. And that's going really good. And I've been writing songs, you know, for the next Kingdom of Sorrow record and for the next Ice Pick record. So, you know, it's always, you know, I'm always being inspired and channeling, you know, whatever the power is that makes me want to create music. And luckily I've been making a lot of songs lately.
You're a busy guy?
Yeah.
Going back to who you've worked with, who would you want to work with who you haven't worked with yet?
Well, producer-wise, it would be great to work with like somebody like that, a big producer. But musician-wise, it'd be great to like get Tom Araya to sing on one of my records, or Max Cavalera, or maybe it would be really cool to get Danzig or James Hetfield. You know, in a wishful world. You know?
Yeah. You have Stillborn Records, and you've got your clothing company. That must keep you just as busy.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy summer. You know, the Hateware booth is going out. It's actually the Love Hate booth that's going out on Rockstar Mayhem tour with Slipknot and Mastodon and Machine Head, and I'll be appearing at a bunch of shows, signing with a bunch of different artists.
Oh, sweet.
So, and giving away a label sampler and promoting the clothing line. I got a bunch of new shirts and bandanas and wristbands and shorts and all this stuff that, you know, people have been asking for. It's really started to pick up, so that's why I'm doing the booth, and it's going to be in like, you know, 30 cities on that tour. And I'll probably go to those shows and give out the sampler, promote the label, promote the clothing line, and just hang out with the bands and maybe do some interviews for my website and stuff. At least like probably 18 shows.
Yeah, you are gonna be busy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be flying in and out, and I have solo shows around those shows too. So I'm, you know, and the solo set is very basic. I do like 4 or 5 solo songs that'll eventually be on my record when it comes out, and then I do songs from all 3 bands. I do a couple Hatebreed, couple Ice Pick, couple Kingdom of Sorrow, and I've been doing a lot of covers. My band that plays with me, they're great. Like, they can play Pantera, they can play Slayer, they can play Sepultura, so they know a lot of covers. So when I do a solo show, it's great because the kids go on, and I get a couple hundred kids that vote for the set, come to the show, and they get to hear the songs they voted for.
I read that you were going to make a cover album.
Yeah, the Covers album is going to be a Hatebreed project through Koch.
Yeah.
We did Misfits, Metallica, Cro-Mags, Judge, DRI, Negative Approach. That's going to be cool.
That'll be a treat.
Yeah, it's fun. It was fun, you know, and the whole point is to reconnect with the good feelings you get when you're first starting out and you learn someone else's song.
Yeah.
And, you know, with Hatebreed, our formula has always been, you know, very straightforward, very simple, you know, especially by me, like when I talk to people at the guitar shops or the music stores, you know, there's always kids going in and the first thing they want to learn is a Hatebreed song.
Yeah.
And that's cool. So, you know, it's kind of like that. It's, you know, it's coming back around to us where that inspiration was there to like learn the Metallica stuff and show that we can go outside of our normal realm, you know.
Yeah.
Performance-wise, you know, I'm really singing on some tracks. Sean's blazing solos. Matt is, you know, kicking it on the drums. B's doing all the bass stuff. It's great.
That's pretty sweet. You also have a DVD.
Yeah, the DVD.
Is that for this tour?
The DVD was the main part of it was shot in Detroit. That's coming out hopefully end of September, and the rest. There's other shows on there. You know, there's like Philly, New York, Germany, and it's basically it covers like the Supremacy World Tour basically, like the cycle of the entire time pretty much.
That's pretty sweet. You have your show on MTV. I haven't actually seen it.
No, it's done. It's been done for a while.
Oh, yeah?
But I'm writing a book. Oh, I just don't
heard.
host it anymore.
Oh, okay.
But it's still on, which is great. You know, they just premiered our new video the other day, and hopefully it'll stay on, you know, for as long as it can. And they premiered the Kingdom of Sorrow video too, so I gotta thank them for doing that. But the book is like journals and diaries of the 4 years. Everybody, you know, interviewing everybody from Metallica to Dio to Iron Maiden to Jada Pinkett Smith, and you know, like just all the behind the scenes craziness that went on, the scheduling, the hectic schedules, and you know, being on stage at Ozfest, doing a signing, then being on a plane, then interviewing Metallica, then being on a plane, you know, back to another Ozfest, like just crazy stuff, you know, then being on with Marilyn Manson, and then going to Europe, and then flying back to interview Deftones. Like there's just so much crazy stuff.
Oh, you're lucky.
Yeah, I'm very blessed, you know, and I feel super grateful, and the fans and the supporters of the show were so good to me, and everywhere I went, people thanked me for, you know, what little impact I had made through the show, and it was cool. It was a great time, you know.
Does it ever hit you how successful you've become and like how far you've come as opposed to where you thought you'd get in the beginning?
Yeah, I mean, every day I wake up and I feel blessed. I mean, I've seen a lot of death and addiction and people going to prison, and a lot of talented people that have really ruined their shot. And, you know, I feel grateful that I've been able to stay focused and that I've had so many great opportunities given to us. I mean, especially just Hatebreed alone, you know, Slayer giving us a huge break, taking out us all over the world, you know. Slipknot gave us our, you know, first big tour, Danzig. I mean, there's so many bigger bands that really helped us to get to the point where we're at, and now to just maintain everything is great, you know. Especially like here, you know, you come back to Toronto, you get a sold out show headlining, and you know, it's on a record that we felt was really a true record to our message and our sound. So that means the fans are supporting it, and they're happy that we're great, you know.
Yeah, Canada loves you for sure.
It's been a great tour, you know. It really has. Like Typo, unfortunately they couldn't play tonight, but like tomorrow we meet back with them in Toledo, and we played. You know, they were on the Iron Maiden show yesterday with us as well.
Oh yeah, so they got into Canada.
And it's just been great, man. The crowd's mixed well. We're great friends with Peter and Kenny and Johnny and Josh and 3 Inches of Blood are great. So we're very stoked, you know, that we were able to do this, and especially the record's going to be 2 years old, so we were really planning on doing a record. We didn't plan on doing this, but it's a great way to end the cycle.
Yeah, no doubt. Is there any memorial dates that you've had on the Jaeger tour? Drinking a lot of Jaeger?
No, you know, I haven't touched booze in years now, so which has helped me, you know, stay productive and stay creative.
Yeah.
Not that I wasn't, you know, productive and creative when I was drinking. I was just it just took longer.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, the cool thing about Jaeger is that they care about the music. Is people are willing to like really promote the heck out of the tour, and not a lot of companies are like that, you know, especially in the beverage world or in the clothing world or in the endorsement world, whatever it is. You know, that company's really been good to us.
Yeah, I've seen them endorse a couple of bands.
Yeah, well, when we did the Slayer tour, we thought, you know what, this is a huge opportunity for us doing the Jaeger tour, opening for Slayer, and then it was like, man, it would be cool to one day headline it ourselves.
Yeah. You
know, so that was cool.
Every hardcore band I interview, they all say Hatebreed is a main influence.
Wow.
A lot of bands, actually. Yeah.
Wow.
Who influences you?
Well, that's an honor, man. And I mean, you know, for us to have an impact is great, but for our influences, we're just emulating, you know, the bands that we loved growing up, you know. And still to this day, you know, the beauty of music is that, for me, there's some records and some bands that I go and I still listen to it like every day, especially if I'm on tour and I'm warming up for a show. But then new bands come along and they blow you away as well, and they continue to challenge and inspire you. So one day I'll be listening to DRI or Exodus or you know, like the other day I went and listened to Bonded by Blood, and I was just as blown away as I was when I was a kid, you know.
Yeah.
And then I'll listen to Arise, or I'll listen to Roots, or I'll listen to KSAD, and I'm like, I'll get on a Sepultura kick and I'll listen to them like, you know, for a couple weeks in a row. And then this tour I've been jamming so much of like Cataclysm and Decapitated and the new Cannibal Corpse, you know, but then I'll go and I'll listen to like Hammer Smash Face and The Bleeding and you know, it's
everywhere. Right?
It's everywhere, you know. But
even
then
rap,
even some hip hop stuff, you know. Like, it's been a while since I've been inspired or really felt like there was some monumental hip hop stuff. I mean, I like Nas, I like Old Mobb Deep, I like Wu-Tang definitely, you know. As far as new stuff coming out, definitely The Last Jedi Mind Tricks, and I really enjoy everything that Ill Bill does. And you know, I was always more in tune with, you know, being New Haven, Connecticut, we got a lot of hip hop tours through our area, and I was always more in tune with real street level hip hop. You know, I always liked, you know, just more underground stuff.
Yeah.
So, but it's been a while that I've been really, really like blown away by something. But I'm looking forward to like Be Real solo record.
Yeah.
I liked the Muggs and Jackin record that they did together. I think Sick Jackin's amazing. Psycho Realm. If anybody wants to check them out, definitely good stuff. West Coast stuff.
A lot of heavy metal bands, they all listen to like Necro and Jedi Mind Tricks. They all touch bass.
A lot of people like it. I mean, it's more up here. More in Canada, it's more open-minded.
We don't get those kinds of tours through here, though.
Yeah, well, you know, we took Necro out on some dates, and he had a hard time. Yeah. He didn't finish the tour, but, you know, I respect what he does. He's never censored his stuff. He's so brutal and so true to his brutality, and he lives it, you know what I mean? Like, if someone challenges him, he's going to jump off stage and pound their face in, and, you know, he really does live it, so you got to respect that, you know?
Your lyrics they're always meaningful, and to me they have to do with like things that all of us have to face in our day-to-day lives, and a lot of the bullshit that we have to go through. Where do you see the world and society right now?
Well,
from your point of view,
you know, lately I've been on the whole like just trying to live and let live kick. I've been able to like let go of a lot of animosity that I felt towards certain individuals or certain situations that I have been in the past, and that's a liberating feeling. And I'm trying to focus on that in like future writing and stuff. I touched on that a little bit with Supremacy, you know, of erasing the personal history, because it does bog you down. But as far as like the state of like what I see, there's always injustice, there's always corruption, poverty, disease, and war, and stuff that, you know, you feel helpless. But one person can change the world, and I do believe that. And you look and you see, like, you know, even if you look in the past, you know, the one guy's smallpox and like inspired, you know, millions of people to go out, and they rid the earth of smallpox. You know, it was one guy who started it. You know, there's things that can happen where one person can be the catalyst in a massive world change. So I don't think it's hopeless. You know, I never like sympathize with the people that act very, you know, pessimistic and hopeless with the state of the world. I think that just causes more hopelessness, and I don't think there's a point.
No, yeah. On the way here, I was listening on the radio, and Obama. Have you ever heard of the Bilderberg Group?
No, I haven't.
No. Well, supposedly he had some secret meeting, and they held the press in a plane. Because the press is allowed to follow him everywhere, supposedly. And they put them on the plane and started flying it, and they were wondering where he was. And they actually showed the press was still filming, and they were asking the guy. There's some guy who was speaking for Obama, and it sounded really sketchy. The guy.
Really?
Yeah. It's just recent. It was just put on the radio today. So.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, like, unfortunately with this tour, and actually the last tour too, when everything was going on, we were really ignorant to everything. Like, I didn't even know who was running until like a couple months ago. It was bad, but that's because I'm in my own little bubble and I got so much stuff going on. But I gotta definitely educate myself more and find out what's what's gonna happen. But we didn't get asked to do the Rock the Vote campaign or anything, so I don't know.
Speaking of change, if you had the power to change, what would you change?
Well, first I would help kids. If I could get every kid out of the hospital, that would be probably the first thing I would do. Especially, as a parent, the kids are the future, and the kids are like, just if you have a child, it's just the greatest thing you can ever experience. And to see kids that are sick and dying in a hospital, it really hits home. I would do children's charities too.
That's great. Being the frontman of Hatebreed, what do you hate the most?
There's never a shortage of stuff to hate. It's just you can't be aimless with it. You have to try to make a change, and you have to try to put your best foot forward in any situation. But like I said, when you look at the world, it's easy to be a critic or a commentator of the stuff that's happening. Poverty, greed, corruption, all the stuff that I mentioned before.
Yeah.
I write songs about it. It gives me a little bit of an escape. But at the end of the day, I'm a musician. I like to write music, and I want the lyrics to have an impact. But it's like there is so much that you can be angry about, and you don't want to get overly angry about it, because then it does become aimless. You want to be able to like choose the cause that you want to go for and help it there when you can, and when you can actually help. I mean, I'm not telling people like, look, go support this cause, because a lot of people can barely support themselves.
Yeah.
Which in itself is an issue that
it is
that's upsetting. But as far as like hating one group of people or one religion or one way of life, there's nothing like that we've ever preached. We've always felt like we used whatever hate we had towards whatever situation to breed a positive solution from it. And that's why I always urge people, read the lyrics, read the liner notes, read about us, read the interviews, and it's never aimless hate.
Yeah, because once you start hating, then you become like what they are.
Exactly. And that's what the song Defeatist is about. There's tons of songs about it, but we're very we're blessed as a band. We've done like the impossible from our genre, and people identify with the message, and the people that really get it, they know, and they live by it, and it's about keeping the positive mental attitude, and not hating for no reason. Yeah,
you guys are powerful. You guys can make like a whole ground full of people jump, move.
We try. The people that really get it, and as the DVDs come out, and we make more records, and we expand, what we're doing, more and more people are made into believers, and we appreciate that, because that's what music did for me. Like, it made me believe in other things being possible in my life, and that's the power of music, so I hope that we can continue to do that, which I think we will.
Do you have any last words for the fans?
Thank you, everybody, for the years and years of support. It's great, and I just played a show with King Massaro here in like a snowstorm, and still like 200 people showed up in like a foot of snow. So thank you, and hopefully we'll be back on the next record.
Jamey from Hatebreed.
I don't know why you have this wire hanging, but it was interesting. But
thanks, man.
Thank you.
That was an honor to do this interview.
Oh, thank you, man.